Hello, everybody. Um, Welcome back to the channel. It's been, say, about, I don't know, 3 weeks. I'll just call it a month. It's been a month since I made a proper upload. One video I did upload, I wound up privating because of some issues with it, weirdly. I don't know why that video caught acclaim. It had 2 views in it, there's no music, and it's just commentary gameplay. It was very weird, so I had to take that video down. But I'm gonna explain some of that mess, like not uploading, just a little bit for you guys. And I'm sorry if I sound weird or quiet or so on. You know, it's kind of late where I live. Gotta keep things down. I gotta say this much. I am hard on the grind in War Thunder. I am working on trying to make that new video series I promised in a previous update vid. Also wanted to state my thoughts on some upcoming developments with War Thunder and my plans for future videos. There's a lot of you guys now. There's more than double of you than there used to be. I realize that I have to maintain an upload schedule, which has been difficult recently because of a lot of life factors. I've not had as much time to record. I've been trying to focus on myself, not just physical health wise, but mental health wise. So that's part of why. And you know, just in general, things going on around the house. Not had the time. So, elephant in the room, not to put a fine point on it. War Thunder's new update, Danger Zone. F-14A Tomcat. That's gonna be a problem. I'm not gonna go into detail with it. There's a lot of other War Thunder YouTubers that go into a lot of detail about what's going on with the F-14, what it's gonna be like, you know, certain gameplay aspects, you know. Some of them are calling it game breaking. Other people are gonna say it's gonna be kind of weak at its tier initially, and it gets phoenixes and can track multi-targets. I don't think it's gonna be weak. I think you can pop 3 kills before the match really starts. That's my opinion. You launch all your phoenix missiles at BVR range, and you can even ripple fire on, you know, targets. You can launch 6 missiles on 3 different targets, and you're pretty much guaranteed to get at least 1 kill. I mean, it's not gonna, you know, every time, but you have at least the 1 guaranteed kill. And then, of course, you got some decent heat seekers, and it's an F-14. It's really fast. It's really fast. So fast, it's gonna make problems for one of my favorite jets in the game, and I know this is weird, the F-104. In specific, it's going to make a lot of problems for the F-104S and the SASA, which I'm currently working on spading, is the SASA. F-14 is going to be able to run me down, and that's not a good thing, because I can't outturn an F-14, and if he can run me down, what do I have on him? He also gets high G heat seekers, and like I said before, the Phoenix missiles, where if I'm not careful and I get too slow, I'm not going to be able to outmaneuver. Especially since I can't pop chaff. Like, the S model does not get chaffer flares. And even though the ASA gets chaffer flares, this update will hit, and there will be some people that get the F-14 before I unlock the chaff and flares for the ASA. It's not really that much of a huge problem. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people who have just fine a time in the ASA. And actually, I found out that if you close within 3 miles of an enemy, if you're head on, the AIM-9L will automatically switch to radar lock. So I've been able to shoot people head on just fine. But, not my point. Anyway. The F-104s are going to suffer. I'm just going to put it that way. If there's anything that's absolutely for sure in game, the F-104s are going to suffer, and they already suffer. A lot of them already suffer. The A's and C's in America, nobody ever uses them because they're so garbage. They only get AIM-9Bs. They're nowhere near as fast as the other F-104 models, like the Gs and the S and the ASA and, and the J, EJ, whichever. They're not as fast. They get crappy missiles. They don't turn. And now there's going to be even less reason to fly those models. And, even the good ones, not a lot of people fly. Some people fly the S and the Japanese J and the German G because they get good, like Sparrows. But, there's nothing there that you don't get with an F4 Phantom, like the F4F or the F4 FEJ, or the J. You get a Phantom in the German and Japanese trees. So there's not really a need to fly the F-104, but for Italy, the F-104 is all they got. The ASA is a nice plane. Even flying it stock, I'll admit. Great performance. Surprisingly great performance for a stock aircraft. It can hard charge when you're, really hounding the throttle about Mach 1.12. And, that's not exactly fast enough to get you out of situations you find yourself in half the time, but it's plenty fast. And it gets the AIM-9Ls out the gate. It gets 2 of them. So that's not bad. You can almost guarantee yourself a kill. But, yeah. I think if Gaijin if they're really going to stick it on Italy to stay with an F-104 variant, they need to add the model up from the ASA. They need to add the ASA-M. The ASA-M has ever so slightly extra power. So it'll cruise a little bit faster, comparatively with the F-14. It'll cruise. And the ASA-M just has, slightly better. It's the penultimate form. It's called the Super Starfighter. Better radar, better missiles. Slightly stronger engine. Again, chaff and flares. Slightly, it's tiny. The F-104s used to be this long, huge stick. You can see the ASA-M, and it's way shorter. It's got more power. It's lighter. Turns better. It's just all around better F-104 platform than most others, if not the penultimate expression of that particular airframe. And if Gaijin's gonna shaft Italy and stick with the F-104s until like the F-16 or something, then they need to add the ASA-M. That's my personal opinion. Of course, there's a lot of other jets that they could implement, but I don't want to go into too much detail. I'm not professionally, good knowledge on that stuff too much. You'd be better off watching the European Canadian for various aircraft that could be fat into that tree as a counter for the F-14, or at least give them something, have a chance, because Italy is admittedly a neglected nation. I have almost every single jet in Italy. The only jet in the Italian tree I am missing is the Italian F-104G. And that's because I had already finished the research on the S before they added the Italian G. And then the ASA was added before I started research on the G, because I was finishing off my research on the last couple of props. I only have one, two props I don't have in the Italian tech tree. And so, I saw the ASA and I was like, ooh, stronger engine, better turn, Chaffin flare, and it gets a Mount L's. That's an upgrade from the S, I'll go for that. So, I've neglected the G, and for good reason, because the G just doesn't, it's not got that extra on anything. If anything, it's a slight downgrade in performance from F-104s I've already been flying. So I don't really see a need to go for the Italian G, but right now I'm researching it because it's the only thing I have left to research. And I only have another 90,000 research left to put on it. Well, what do? You either add another variant of F-104 and make Italy the tech tree with the most F-104s in the game, because it's got 3 right now. Or you add something unique. I'll leave that up to you guys to talk about and speculate. And as for Israel, funny story. I have almost everything in the Israeli air tree already. I've wanted to start grinding the tank tech tree, which is rare for me. I don't normally like grinding tanks. I've only gone down the German tank line and the British tank line because there's some nifty stuff in there. And I've always liked World War II German tanks, which is the whole reason why I'm at the rank I am right now with German tanks. The Israeli tank tree has some really cool, unique vehicles that happen to be sat at BR ratings that I'm comfortable with. That happen to also be an upgrade from tanks that I've driven that they're based off of. Like the M51, it's based off the Sherman. I've driven my fair share of Shermans, having grinded through the British tree, currently going through the American tree. But the M51 is so much better, it's an understatement to just say it's the best Sherman ever in the game. That's what I'm gonna say. Maybe not for its BR, but overall in-game, it's the best Sherman variant. That extra mobility it gets from a post-war engine, and that massive gun. It'll pen a Jagdtiger from the front. Come on. That's all you need to know. If it's got that good a penetration value, pretty much anything you shoot at will get penned. Which is pretty rare to say for any kind of Sherman. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, I'm only missing a handful of aircraft in the Israeli tech tree. So hopefully, there's some rumors, I'm not sure, Israel might get something new for the air tree. I know they're getting a new Merkava for the tank tree. But to be honest, that doesn't really affect gameplay right now because not too many people that high up in the BR set for Israel. It's not going to do much initially. It's going to take a few months for that tank to really start showing an impact, if it makes one at all. Because it's so far up the line. It's at rank 7. Israel's still a new nation, so unless you're grinding it day and night, it's only been in the game for a handful of months, 2.5 months, you're not going to be a top tier Israeli tank set. Not yet, anyway. Most people won't be up there. So that particular new Merkava, all that's doing is just adding another tank to research right now. I would like to see, this is a suggestion, I've seen other people make it, and honestly it would be a good idea, is add the captured MiG-21 to the Israeli tech tree as a premium vehicle. If not a premium vehicle, you can make it an event vehicle, but we've already had an event vehicle for Israel that does quite well, and we don't need a new one quite yet. Typically speaking, though, Israel got its first event vehicle for that nation in just shy of a month. which is a record for any tech tree, really. Getting an event vehicle that early in your introduction to the game should say something. Israel's an amazing tech tree. I mean, the Mirage is the Mirage, but you know what? 3CJs at 0.3 BR lower than the French C. And I personally like that advantage because that means I'm not guaranteed to get up tiered. I can get down tiers, and it does very well in both regards. And the Nesher, and the Kafir C7, and I have the C2. I'll do a video on the C2. Don't worry. Oh, and as for a 150 subscriber special, I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to make that properly. I've gone over it in my head. I've got nothing in particular that's all that nifty or that would feel right for that kind of video, and just, think. So yeah, this channel will continue to upload content periodically. I will do my best to get it back on that weekly schedule you guys all know, and maybe even more than one video per week, depending on how I feel. Sorry if I sound weird. I'm just in a, how do you say? I'm a bit tired. Expect more Forza content. Expect more War Thunder content. That's pretty much all I could tell you. And expect just basically a video special talking about some of the crap going on in my country right now. Good old United States not knowing what the hell it's doing with itself. All the southern states are pulling crap that the northern states don't like. And, if things keep going as they are, it would not surprise me if a second civil war was going to start being a possibility. And it's honestly looking like it might be. Because, nothing in the United States can ever go particularly well. It's like, you hear some people, it's like, the safest, smartest country in the world. I'm like, dude, our education system is worse than some third world countries. When your education system quality dips below an opposite nation of which can barely afford food, there's something very wrong. And no one acknowledges it. Nobody. I'm not usually an advocate for helicopter parenting, but these days, honestly, homeschooling is the best thing you can do for your kid, because it gives them so many more options to branch out and explore and find things out, and they don't get automatically brainwashed. Just better overall. Anyway, well, that might not be best for some children. Just gonna say, religious parents. Nope, not gonna do that. And the odd Karen or two. You go teach the kid. You see that man over there in the Starbucks? He owes you a drink. Make him give it to you because you deserve it. Stuff like that. Anyway, that's enough of my weird social political rant. Don't mean to make things political. I hate politics personally. All it ever serves to do, at least with how it's practiced right now, is create divide and controversy and constant argument after argument about even the smallest of subject, all for what? The minor, most insignificant gain to somebody else's ego. The only time they ever serve a real purpose is in times of national crises, where negotiation skills like that are actually needed in order to find out what you need, what they need, what's it gonna cost, so on. Doing that in-house, sometimes it's just a nightmare. I am making very weird whispery sounds. I'm gonna stop doing that. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, I know this is a long video, but I figured I'd try to explain as much as I could, talk in depth about certain things as best as I could in the moment. Don't exactly write a script for these things. So anyway, yeah. Again, thanks for watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you in the next video, which will hopefully be in a few days. It's been Ace. Bye.